So let's just talk about why getting one unit is important. Most people, they're going to go to the casino and they're going to go there to have a good time and just try to hit something big and impress their friends with a pile of chips on 17. Or they're going to try to play for 30 to 1 until I get it. You know what happens to that poor person? They try all night to get it. And the second they walk away, 17 comes in on roulette, let's say. They had a stack on the number and they had stacks all around it the whole time. They finally ran out of money. Second they walk away, the dealer spins 17. And he has to hear everyone win on it. And he's just so fucking dejected. Don't you think, Mickey May said this in his video once, don't you think if a dealer wanted to, he could hit that number if he wanted to? He's doing the same thing every single day for 8 hours a day, potentially for 20 years. You don't think he could hit that number if he wanted to? But the casino tells him, try not to, until he walks away so he could have the hook in his mouth to come back when he realizes he just missed it. If he had more money, if he brought more money to lose, he could have won it. It's fucked up, right? Think that happens? Has it not happened to you? Is there like an area of the wheel you like to play and it won't get in your area? And then all of a sudden, bang! Sure, when it happened, this fucking dealer never helps me. We make every reason why it didn't work. No, maybe that dealer won't help you, but it probably doesn't help to tell the dealer they suck. Because if they're experienced enough to be able to hit a certain area for you, you don't want to make them your enemy. None of the casinos your friend. But the dealer, especially if you tip them, probably can hit your area if you just stop being a prick. But that's a game I wouldn't play anyway. I just wanted to put that out there. It's the same thing with betting bonuses, same thing with betting ties. Why would you do that? Even if you bet on these ties and it hits in the first 3 hands, which I bet it won't, but it often does. But let's see, just for semantics' sake. Nope, didn't work there. Nope, didn't work there. I would have laughed if it worked there. Do you know what I'm saying? First of all, it pays 8 to 1. Are you even going to get one in 8 hands? Let's see. Can we find a tie within 8 hands so at least make your money back? Nope, didn't work there. Nope, didn't work there. Nope, didn't work there. That's 6 hands, yeah. You got 2 more chances to break even. That's 7. Actually, you'd win 1 more unit if you won here. Oh, you lost all 8 times. Meanwhile, look at the chop that happened. And you're too busy trying to chase a tie. How fucking dumb is that? You could have bet the chop the opposite color all 8 times. Well, not the first one. You didn't know the first one. But you know what I mean. If you were betting on a 1-1 and 1-2, you never lost. I'll take it a step further. What if you were a whale player and you were able to bet $500 and $1,000 on 2 consecutive hands? First item of the shoe was blue, and you just said, "Fuck it, I'm rich. I'm gonna bet 500 and 1,000 until I win 3 units." What if you never stopped? Now I'm gonna ruin some family saying this, but what if you never stopped and you won 500 on the red, and then you won 500 on the blue, and then you lost 500 on the blue, but then you won 1,000 on the red, thereby winning 500. Then you won 500 on the blue, then you won 500 on the red, then you won 500 on the blue. Already, each one of those color changes were effectively worth 500 apiece. So you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would have been $3,000 right there. Now, no one has to bet that much. And no shoe is going to produce like that all the time, where it's just a chop right off the rip. But how many shoes have you seen where where it never goes 3 for a while when the shoe starts. And I'll tell you who fucking hates that. The run players, right? Oh, God, nothing's going to come down. It's got to come down now. It can't keep chopping. And they get so pissed that it keeps chopping because they want it to go vertical. You've got to run right in front of you. That's going horizontal. It only went a second row one time. Why would you bet against that? If you walk up to a table that looks like that, you better not be betting for the run. That's all this video is about, is training your mind to see things, and it's almost just pattern recognition, right? You know, people that are geniuses have very good pattern recognition. More complicated than this. But this, at its base level, you still got to use your brain a little for this, don't you? Like, should be bank, right? It isn't. But we got one more shot. Let's see if it goes third player. Sure did. Sure, because I started talking about it. But you know what I mean. It's going to do that eventually anyway. It's extremely rare. I'd say 1% rare. You're going to get the whole shoe never to go 3. I have seen it, but it doesn't happen as much as you would like. But let's power through this. I'm not betting any hands on this. I'm just going to show you. Okay, maybe it's a long player. No, it is. It's 5 player. So the run player that I would play is I would jump in after 4 and I'd bet the run. There is a guy I know that passed away a year ago, almost to the day, about 10 months ago. He would say when it gets to 5, he would always bet against the run of 5. And you know what he would tell me? Watch how many times it's an 8 or a 9, and sometimes it's a natural on the bank or the player, whatever was running 4 or 5. He would say if it gets to 5, I always bet against it unless it's crazy dominant to one side. You know, if it's a shoe from hell that can't make up its mind what it's doing, and it gets to 5, he'd put a more significant wager that it would not go 6. Seriously, he'd bet against the run, and he'd say it's uncanny, but watch how many times it's an 8 or a 9 after the number 5. He got a natural. It's a natural 9. That's Brad talking to me right now. He's like, you better put me in this video, man. But I'm telling you, it's freaky. Any of you that play with any frequency, start watching that. Because everywhere I've played, it happens. Canada, cities around me, you know, it's a weird thing. And it doesn't always, obviously there's runs that happen, okay? I know that. But how many times does it stop on 5? It might get to 6 and then jump right away. But you know what I mean? Watch that shit. Run a 5 and it jumps to 9. So I'm already at 8 minutes. But that's just another thing I wanted to bring up. There's so many little things and nuances about the game that you see that happen over and over. So we have this is another good example. Banker has not gone 3 the whole shoe. Players proved it can go 5. Let's see if Banker never goes 3. Didn't go 3 there, it chopped. That could have been any number you wanted it to be, any wager you wanted it to be. I sit there and I hunt. I just wait for 1s and 2s banker. I'll bet a small bet on the single bankers not to go 2. And if that fails, I put a significant wager on the second one not to go 3. And I take all the little ones for what they are. And if I win on the big one on the 2s, that's where the money is. That's what I'm hunting for. I'm just sitting about fishing. I'm waiting for it too. I'm like, gotcha, bitch. I know you're going to chop. So let's see here. We also have 3 conjoined, by the way. This might be second bank. I'm just throwing out second bank, see? Look, I'm not even, why am I at 9,200? I wasn't betting anything. That's weird. I don't know how that happened. But anyway. I don't think I was. If I was, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean? Um, this normally would be where you would bet for bank, and you would have won. Now here's the Brad Special coming. I call it the Brad Special. That was his name. And poor guy, he was leaving the casino, I think, the one day because the accident happened around the time that he's leaving the casino. 4 or 5 in the afternoon. He's a retired guy. Super nice guy. Polar opposite of me. So he flipped his car over, man. And I don't know what happened or how, but I think he was hit broadside. And it's just something to think about. You don't know when your number's up, guys, so make the most of the time that you're here. I'd really like to avenge him. He was the perfect example of a guy, though. We're gonna hope it goes banker here, by the way. It did. It barely did, but it did. So it would have been a long bank run. Look at this. Look at this. Long bank. Long bank, man. This has been a lot of units, right? This would have been a lot of units. So player happened. If you were on it after the fourth one, you would have won 4 in a row and then won 1 there. So you would have, for that individual session, micro session there, you would have had a 3-unit win. You could decide to risk it, one of those 3 units for the second player here and make it 5 across on the second. So, I mean, I'm not putting any money out there to say I would have done it, but I probably would have in this scenario. And that would have lost, but you would have had one more bet on banker here, right? And then that would have lost. So, you would have lost 3 in a row. See what I mean? That's why if you catch a run and it jumps, I think a good idea is just to test one time that it won't come down. Because if it's that dominant, it might be all bank now anyway. So why try to make the player come down, even though it was feeding on the seconds? I think that's an instance where it takes off running, literally, that I wouldn't bet for the second as soon as it changed color. I would test it. And if it does, in fact, miss and chops, well, I'd probably test just 1 unit on the bank because it has a strong bank dominance, honestly. Then I'd be off it. If it triple chops, I'd have to burn another hand like this. And then I'd be betting for the chop. So it was a chop anyway. So now I'd be betting the player for 2 hands. I won right away. I don't even need the second hand. No, I burn a hand. Actually, that would have been 5 in a row. I would have stayed on it probably. But if I fell asleep at the wheel and I burned the hand, I'm betting bank. And even if I did bet it, I would have still bet bank for 1 more try. And I would have won. I would have won. So, or won. Whatever. So, if you get that back, you got to burn a hand. And now the 2 twos are starting, so we're going to say it would have been player. I would have lost. Got to burn a hand, see if it's a run again. It is. Got to bet bank. Would have lost. Got to burn a hand. Like, I don't even need to see the scoreboard, and I know what I'm doing already, because it's all in my head. My eyes aren't glued to that scoreboard. I don't get attached to it. I know what I'm doing because I know what I'm on right now. What mode I'm on right now. Right? Everything I'm trying to show, though, they're tools for the trade. Like you see things that are working, and all you can work with is what's in front of you. Every fucking shoe is going to be a different fucking scenario. So all you got to do is know what to look for and just, try to make it work. But you don't have to try to make it work for 4 units. You could just get the 1 like I was doing before and get out. Don't gotta make all this fucking noise. So, in this scenario, we're betting second bank. I'm not putting money out there to validate it. Just try not to convolute the whole process here. But there's just things to look for. So we're going to say second player now. And if that doesn't work, back in the, figure it out mode. So we would have lost again. I don't know where we would have been exactly on the shoe because I'm saying all this stuff. But I mean, there's things, individual things that you could fight for. So remember the prior two shoes I was saying about the threes that always jump? I'm like, sometimes that don't work. Sometimes you get a shoe where they just run. Well, look what this did. The first two instances of three, it went 5. It went at least 5. That one went 9. 8 rather. So the next one went 4. It didn't stop at 3, it went 4. So anything that went 3 went at least 4. Right? So it doesn't always work. And that's why I tell people, if it goes 5 the very first run of 3 of the shoe, then I disqualify that whole strategy. But it's not uncommon, like, even if it has a long run at the very beginning of the shoe, the first 5 hands are all player, and then the rest of the shoe never goes 5 player again. But are you going to tempt fate that early in the shoe after it's already proven it can come down that it's not going to be a streaky shoe? You could, but I wouldn't advise it. So all this shoe is just about warning of the pitfalls of this fucking game. You gotta know. You gotta know and be mentally strong and prepared for the cocksuckery that will, in fact, inevitably happen. Teacher didn't like your essay. You got an F on a report card. That's what a bad shoe is. That's what a bad fucking shoe is. It's an F on your report card. You don't need that shit in your life. You don't need to have to explain what happened to the F on your report card to your wife. You need to get shit done. If it's not working, know that it ain't working and get off it. That's all I gotta say.